Hey guys, what is going on? This is Panzer Dragon, and today we're going to be talking about 8.10 jungle changes and a new meta of Smite mid that was kind of shown up by Scuttler. This patch right now is a little crazy. That's why this video is going to try and explain what is going on. I've experimented after like a few games, and after a while I've understood how this meta or 8.10 works. As it is a very weird patch. It's very meta breaking, I'd say. But before we start this video will be sponsored by Pro Guides. Check them out for all your ranking needs, as they have some pretty cool guides for your essential climbing in your rank games. But anyways, with all that being said, let's get started. Okay, first off, let's talk about the jungle changes. So, experience is no longer reduced by 5% per level champion ahead of the camp being taken. I don't know if I noticed this too much, but I don't think this is one of the bigger changes. Kind of small, don't notice it. But the big changes are the monster camps granting less XP from levels 1 to 7. After level 7, it doesn't really matter. It's like the same old jungle, right? But this is really important because this is how jungle is impactful. You can now only get level 3 with 4 camps. Or I think you can do like 3 camps, but it has to involve Krugs in some way. So essentially, your early game, less impactful. When I was level 5, guess who else was level 5? The support. That, I feel like that shouldn't happen, but you know, that happens now. Feels kind of weird, not gonna lie. Also, the XP reduction being removed on like Gromp and kind of less on the Krugs. I don't really notice that either. But the biggest change of the jungle is the Rift Scuttler. This thing is now very objective based. Everyone will want to fight for this. Everyone wants lane priority. This is what is messed up with the jungle right now, is this little scuttle thing. It just gives too much for how easy it is to do, and is what is making the game kind of team reliant. Because let's say you want to contest a scuttle, well, what if your mid lane is being pushed in? Then that means you can't contest it, but you're like the early game jungler, or your top lane is being pushed as well, right? So now it's kind of team reliant. You're relying on your teammates to help you contest this, but if they can't, then you're kind of screwed. And there's a bunch of like brawls happening in the river for this. It's like if you get like 2 or 3 of the scuttles and your enemy opponent has 1, yeah, you win. Not exactly, but it's just that impactful. You want this. That's why all the routes will involve like a camp and then straight to the scuttle, or like 2 camps and then get your scuttle. Or even mid lanes taking Smite to get that scuttle. Even top laners getting it and getting pushed in and stuff like that, just to get the scuttle crab. It's literally League of Scuttle Crab. And that's why early game junglers are more impactful. You can't pick farming junglers anymore or tank junglers because everyone's constantly fighting for the crab. You want to pick Shyvana? Well, you better sneak that scuttle crab or something like that. But secondly, even farming the jungle isn't as impactful because they reduce the XP, so you can't really get a level lead on the enemy jungler, because ganks, they grant more XP if you get them off, right? So you can't outfarm the jungler in a sense, because like 1 scuttle crab is worth 2 camps probably, or something. At level 9, it's worth half a kill. Like, they're probably gonna nerf it, I'm not gonna lie, but if they do nerf it, like the gold rewards and whatever it gives, XP as well, then jungle can't even get a lead in some way. Like, what, are they gonna farm their camps or just constantly gank, which is probably the most optimal thing to do if the scuttle is nerfed. And it's just like, well, But yeah, it's created a meta where everyone contests it, and you want early game junglers like Lee Sin, Xin Zhao, Graves. No more Sejuani, no more Zac, no more weak early game junglers. You want strong early game junglers. Or objective based junglers like Ivern and Nunu. I mean, Ivern is kind of objective based, but like he can take scuttle pretty fast. He's not really dragon or baron oriented, but like, I'm talking about the scuttle here. So yeah, if you like farming the jungle, Master Yi, have fun. And also, if you don't have CC, oh boy, no CC for the scuttle, well, it's gonna take a while for you to do that. That is something also you have to take in consideration. So CC junglers, early game junglers, that's what you're kind of looking for. Early game skirmishing, mid laners, bot lane pushers, etc. That's also what you're kind of looking for. Fights in the river, happening a little too often, let's be honest here. Also, your pathing should be oriented to the scuttle crab. That's 100% true. You can't just like drift off and be like, ooh, my blue's coming up, but the scuttle's popping up on the top side. If you're an early game jungler and you have the priority or like, you know, the advantage, you might as well go for it. If you do lose your blue buff, well, it's better that you got the crab, to be honest. So yeah, hopefully you guys understand like how the jungle works now, it's definitely a new meta. I'll talk a little bit more about it, but let me talk about the jungle items and changes, because that's also a part of this topic. So the Hunter's Talisman has been buffed by 15 damage, and you also get 5 more health over 5 seconds. You also gain missing mana regen instead of flat mana regen. And then they also nerfed the Hunter's Machete by not making it grant 15% attack speed, no more, but they compensated for 10 more attack damage on monsters. Well, that sucks. I noticed the nerf on Shaco when I was playing him. I'm like, oh, my attack speed sucks now. So with this change, it means if you are a Talisman jungler, you are buffed, essentially. If you're someone like Kha'Zix, I recommend going Talisman. That thing, ooh, that thing's powerful. Maybe someone like Xin Zhao would still go Machete because he has 50% attack speed off his E, or 40 or whatever it is. But essentially if you have an attack speed steroid, go Machete. But if you're like, you know, you don't have any attack speed steroids, you just get Machete because you're used to doing blue, wolves, and then your red buff, then I would recommend going Talisman if you can. I think that like Talisman is so much stronger right now, especially if you plan on doing your chickens. If you're doing like the wolf camp plus the 2 buffs, then yeah, go Machete, but like if you're gonna be doing everything, then I might as well go Talisman. But yeah, in this sense, jungle has been nerfed because most champions were using the Machete, but now it doesn't grant 15% attack speed, so it is a nerf to all people who are using Machete, but a buff to Talisman junglers, which a lot of junglers weren't using. So yeah, it sucks. And I guess we can talk about Smite mid, since I've also tried that out. So it's like the old Runeglaive, where Ezreal would go mid and have Runeglaive, right? And I've tried it, and I suck at mid, because I don't play that well. But I understand what you're supposed to do is always have mid priority in this meta. Otherwise, if you're gonna play someone who sits at tower, all your Scuttle Crabs will be taken by the enemy jungler, so that's gonna suck. Or you can do the Smite mid cheese, where you build the item as well as taking a Scuttle Crab after you push in the first wave and get level 2, have CC, and then get it. Definitely a viable strategy. And also I do think the new, Runic Echoes is good, as most mid laners these days do have some sort of mana item involved with them, like Ludens or Tear of Goddess. They don't really want the old movement speed of 7%. They needed some sort of mana pool to back them up. So yeah, that's their item. Do I think Smite mid is good? Not really, because it's a useless summoner in lane, and until you get your Runic Echoes, the challenging Smite, it's yeah, for the early game, it's not that useful. It's only really useful if you can get that Scuttle Crab and cheese, essentially, but it's not a combat summoner, it's not a heal summoner to help your jungler or whatever, or you in 2v2s. It's like, I'm only getting this to get the Scuttle Crab, and yeah, that's it. You do get missing mana regen in the river. That's like definitely a bonus, but I don't know, it's kind of cheese. I haven't seen a good mid laner use it, but in my opinion, I've used it and it's not that good. I think if the enemy jungler is smart, he'll try and like get both crabs or whatever and keep constantly contesting the crab after the first one. So in that sense, your Smite will be useless, but the item is good, I'll say that. If you can get to that point, then yeah, you're good. You're good to go with Smite mid. But anyways, final opinion of this whole thing. So at first, I was not liking the changes. I was like, what the hell? I feel like garbage. I feel like I was nerfed, and I was right. But then, after not playing Shaco, because I actually don't think he's that good right now, as his levels 1 to 3 isn't the best, I started playing more aggressive junglers like Xin Zhao, and I was like, okay, it's a little better. I just have to path efficiently to the crab and constantly have a lot of pressure on the crab and just prioritize that all the time. And then finally I came to a conclusion of, oh, that's how you play the game. So essentially I was frustrated for a bit. I was like, jungle's ruined, but now I'm like, I understand a little bit more. I understand how the game is meant to be played. Do I think the jungle changes are good? I don't think so, because a lot of junglers like Sejuani, Zac, all these like tank junglers can't be played anymore, so that means less diversity. Like a level 2 Zac does not want to walk in the river against a level 2 Graves, right? No, he gets shit on. There's probably going to be less diversity, of course, and yeah, it's a battle for the Scuttles. I don't really care. I'll play and figure out the meta. That's always how I've been, but I also think farming should be a strategy. The old jungle was honestly pretty good, not gonna lie. This one I'm definitely weaker in. I don't hit level 6 with my mid laner anymore, and after level 7, it's the same. Oh, also, there's no optimal pathing anymore. Like, you could out path enemy jungle. Now, it's just The only way to outpath them is if you path the Scuttle Crab. That's the only way to outpath an enemy jungle. So yeah, I don't really mind, but for a majority of players, I think they mind a lot, especially the jungle mains. They're like, I'm weaker, I suck, I have to constantly contest this Scuttle Crab. But I'm a Zac main, so I can't do that because enemy jungler is Graves. So overall, jungle's worse. It creates a weird meta though. It's kind of interesting, not gonna lie. It also creates a interesting playstyle from like every lane and is more oriented to like constantly contesting something. So yeah, it's interesting. I want to see what happens in the next coming week because something's gonna pop up, something new is gonna come up, and everyone's gonna be like, what the hell was that? Or what is that? That is super interesting to see that that's happening right now. And that will be interesting, but I kind of wish give more incentive to farm your camps. Because right now, strategy of farming kind of sucks. I like doing that, but now it's constantly contesting and fighting. That's fun if you're someone like Xin Zhao or Graves, but if you're playing Shaco, unlucky. But anyways, that's my opinion. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will also be releasing a jungle tier list for tomorrow, so make sure you look out for that. And yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. I will see you guys next time.